We are back with lines 325 to 328, and the Sibyl continues her response to Aeneas. Haec omnis quam cernis in ops inhumataque turbest, portitur ille caron, hi quos vehit unda sepulti. Nec ripas datur horrenda set rauca fluenta transportare prius quam sedibus ossa quierunt. Haec omnes, all this, and it means all this turba way over here. So these are all nominative form here. They're feminine singular, and that is your verb. All this crowd. All this crowd. Quam cernis, this little relative clause here, which you see, or which you discern. Quam cernis, and the quam refers to the crowd, right? So that's the antecedent. All this which you see, and the you is meaning Aeneas, so tu is our subject there, because it has the second person singular ending, is, on there, the s. All this which you see, this inops inhumataque turba. And now these are nominative too. A lot of nominatives in this sentence. This means without money, inops, without resources, or bereft. And inhumata, and unburied. Unburied. Humus is ground in Latin, so this is inhumata. I'm not sure why I'm having difficulty saying that word. Humus is ground, so these are not in the humus, not in the ground. They're unburied. One more time, the whole thing. All this which you discern is a bereft, or a penniless, and unburied crowd. Portitur ille caron. Oh, and by the way, just one thing. On the inops, the reason why they don't have any money is because since they weren't properly buried, the people who buried them, who didn't bury them, they were never given that coin. They're supposed to have a coin either on their eyes or in their mouth or something like that to give to the boatmen. So they don't have the coin. They're without money, without resources. Okay, going back here. Portitur ille caron. That ferryman is Charon. Now we mentioned his name earlier, but this is the first time that the Sibyl has spoken his name to Aeneas. These are all nominative, and you got to put in est. So we got ellipsis there, left out est. He quos vehit unda sepulti. These guys, these souls, or people, sepulti. And, well, we got this little clause here first. These souls, whom the wave carries, sepulti, the buried. And you got to put in a sunt, are the buried, or sepulti, from sepilio, sepilire, and that means to be buried. Think of the word sepulchre is a tomb. So these, he is subject, these guys, quos vehit unda. Now that's a little relative clause, and the subject of that relative clause is unda, which the wave, or whom the wave carries, that's the accusative now. And the quos refers to the he, the people, whom the wave carries. Or maybe you could think wave is metonymy for river. Sounds poetic to say it that way. These guys, whom the wave carries, the river carries, are the buried. So that's the distinction, Aeneas. You have the unburied crowd, who has to be left on the shore, and you have the buried crowd, which gets to go across. Nec ripas datur horrendas et rauca fluenta, transportare prius quam sedibus ossa quierunt. Datur It is, and this is nec datur, it is not given. So remember, nec is a combination of non and et, and it is not given, and you got to put in karoni to charon, or it is not allowed is the idea. It is not given. Oh, I made a little mistake here. I should have done a squiggly on here because it's a verb. It is not given to charon, and charon implied here is dative. Not given to charon. To transportare, to carry, and now you got to also add in the animas, the object of portare, the animas, the souls, meaning of the unburied. Okay, so, and it is not given to charon, or not allowed to charon, to carry the souls. And then I left trans off here for a second because now trans takes its own objects. We saw this earlier when we had trans take some objects. Across the horrendas ripas. Now that's the object that trans takes. The horrible banks, across the horrible banks, and the rauca fluenta, and the raucous, or the loud, rivers. Neuter plural. And I guess there are multiple rivers, but I think of this as a sort of a poetic expression here. Poetic plural. Has that sound to it. So, and it is not given to charon to carry the souls across the horrible or the horrendous banks and the loud rivers. Priusquam, before, this is adverb, before, their ossa, their bones, quierunt, rest, sedibus, in dwellings, or what it means here is in tombs, in seats, any place where you sit there and rest. Either it could be a house, or in this case a tomb. Literally seats, before their bones rest in tombs. Let's do that sentence one more time. And it is not given or allowed to charon to carry these souls across the horrid banks or the loud rivers before their bones rest in their seats or in their tombs. One more time in Latin. Haec omnis quam cernis inops inhumataque turbest, portitur ille charon. He quos vehit unda sepulti, nec ripas datur horrendas et rauca fluenta transportare, priusquam sedibus ossa quierunt.